What's up, guys? Welcome to IT Security Labs and welcome to our live streams. Today I'm going to share with you guys another machine from Vulnhub, and this one is again from this list by Jason Sec. He's saying that they're really good for the OSCP, so we're going to go for the Sunset Midnight today, and it's going to be a really fun machine. So thank you very much for being here, and if you can hear me, let me know. I upgraded my setup here a little bit. So thank you for being here. I see BT and Kevin. It's good to see you guys. Dave, thank you all for being here. So this is our machine today, and I'm hoping we can learn a few things about attacking WordPress and Sql injections, and also just privilege escalation in general. So let's see if we can attack this machine here. Sunset Midnight. You can find it from Offensive Security Playgrounds, and you can also download it from Vulnhub for free. As always, we are capturing the attack traffic. So we have a security onion intrusion detection system that is going to be capturing our traffic, sending it to security onion. So we'll be triggering some alerts. So if your goal is to end up being a good guy, a defender, this is what you'll be looking at after attackers have done their work. So this is the machine. Downloaded from here for free, and you can follow along with me. I'm running it in VirtualBox. So it works well. If you haven't set up this lab, just follow some videos from this channel, and you'll be able to set up this lab that I have here. So without wasting time, let's go to our Kali Linux machine here. This is my Kali Linux undercover mode. We're going to try to ping our machine. It's on 192.168.38, I think 23. All right, so let's verify that from our DHCP server. Yeah, it's 23. So this is midnight, Sunset Midnight. All right, so now that we have verified our IP address and we also verified that our machine is online, let's go ahead and attack the machine. It's good that to see that we have a lot of people here today. I didn't put it on our Facebook page or Reddit or anything. So a lot of people who are here are regulars or subscribe to the channel. So it's good to see everybody. Let's start with our nmap. I'm going to do minus, you know what? Let's do -A today. Feeling a little bit aggressive. .38.23. We're just going to do an aggressive nmap scan against our target to see if there are any open ports. Hopefully we'll get some version information. And this is part of our enumeration process. So if you haven't been here, we normally do an SV minus SC, but today we're just going to go with the aggressive scan, because why not? This is top 1000 ports. So this doesn't catch anything, and it's only TCP ports in this case. Port 22 is open, that's good. Port 80, as always, we have Apache running here. It also sees WP admin, that's WordPress admin page. So we already know that we are dealing with a WordPress site from here. Weird enough, they also have MySQL open, which is going to be interesting. We normally see port 80, but MySQL is usually not open. There's a salt here. All right, so as always, we found port 80 open. Let's run derb on that. HTTP 192.168.38.23. All right, so we'll run derb, and while derb is running, I wanted to show you something that the author of this machine said, which is important for us to read. Right here, they said this is an intermediate machine, so it's not easy. I think it's easy, and you need to add Sunset Midnight to your Etsy host for it to work properly. So make sure you add Sunset Midnight to your Etsy host, and then make sure that it works. Let's go to. Let me show you what I did there. So you need to make sure that you come here and add this line to your Etsy host to make sure that it works. Just follow the instructions from the author of the machine. So again, this is an intermediate machine. And because we added Sunset Midnight there, we might as well have used Sunset Midnight here as the name instead of going for the IP address. But I started this and I'm already seeing interesting stuff. /admin/atom. So let's check it out. I'm going to open my browser and start poking around on this website. And in this case, I think I'm using Google Chrome. Let's give it a minute here. All right, there we go. And while Chrome is loading, I also wanted to show you that our security onion is actually capturing this traffic right now, our intrusion detection. So if we refresh this, we should see our brute forcing using derb coming along here. All right, I'm getting a few errors. Let's remove this and do it again. All right. Then let's go to Kibana. That's our security onion intrusion detection system. As we brute force, we should be able to see, since we're going after port 80, everything is going to be in plain text. We should be able to see the alerts being generated here in security onion. So if you haven't, please set up this lab. I think it's highly recommended for most people. It gives you hands-on experience that I think even goes beyond what you might learn from other platforms that are already set up for you. So as you can see right here, we're brute forcing. Here's a number of events that's going up. We can even quickly tell from within security onion that we are brute forcing on this instance here. We can see that we have nmap that was observed here. That was us using nmap. We can drill down to be able to see that, yes, this was nmap from our IP address. This is Kali Linux going to a victim machine, just scanning with nmap. So that's important for us to note. Let's go back to Kali and see if we got our results now. All right, our browser is up, Google Chrome. Let's go to HTTP Sunset Midnight, because that's our fully qualified our domain name in this case that we added to etc/host. Let's see what is there. This is not even interesting at all. It's a default WordPress installation, but you always want to come and check it out and see. This is some theme, probably 2019 2020 theme, one of the newer themes. You can see, check if there is any blog post from anyone. This is pretty much the same default WordPress. So the first thing that comes to mind when we have WordPress is WP scan. So let's stop derb here and just go for WordPress. If we don't see anything on WordPress, we can check more. But so far, derb showed us that there's a /admin, atom, and comment page. Let's go for WordPress. And for that, let's use WP scan. Let me see if I have any WP scan notes here. Did I do anything with WP scan? All right, here we go. So I have a link to an article that shows me a few things, but this is just for brute forcing. It looks like I want to be able to just enumerate any users, if any. And here's an article that shows us what to do with WordPress. It's a really good article that I found. But in this case, let's go for enumeration for users. Let's just verify that our users are there and which ones are there before we start brute forcing any. In this case, this looks like I was looking up how to brute force WordPress sites, and for that I just have the WP scan URL enumerate users. Let me show you what I have here. So it's WP scan -- URL. Then you put the full URL of Sunset Midnight -- enumerate. We're going for users. What you most likely would want here is maybe use the API and also enumerate plugins. There's a WP scan API key that you need to generate for free. I'm not going to do that right now. You can also enumerate if there's any plugins that are vulnerable on WordPress. But a good place to start is, let's find out if there are any users. I don't want to update my WordPress instance here. I'm just going for users. This should also get caught by our intrusion detection system because it's loud. Here we have a user admin. That's good. Let's go and see if we can sign in as admin. And for that, we'll go back to our nmap results. Let's close this. It found WP admin as a page. Let's go and see if we can just get into that location. So that's WP admin. Let's try admin. You can try admin to log in. No luck. All right, so you can try injections here. But you can also try to pretty much brute force this and see if you can get any information. And that's where that page that I was showing you in my browser comes in handy. Where did that go? Here. And you can try to brute force here. We found out there's one user, admin. Then we can just say WP scan URL, passwords, then usernames, and ND in this case. So let's just copy this one. Let's brute force our site. I don't like brute forcing things. I think it's not the best way to go for things, but in this case, we're just going to reuse that. And I'm going to say username is admin. My password is roku.text. So let me see if I have a quick shortcut to that so I don't have to deal with. Okay. I don't have a shortcut, so I'll need to fix this in this case. It's sunset midnight. All right. Passwords is supposed to be roku.text, but let me see if I have roku.text here. It's in user share path, so the easiest way to do that is just copy it here. I'm just going to fix this so that it's permanent now. In this case, so next time I don't have to deal with this. I'll use that. Let's clear this. And let's try to brute force it. And in this case, we are saying our user is admin because we found him. And hopefully the syntax is good. Hopefully the syntax is good. Let's see what happens here. No. All right. Sunset-midnight. Let's do that. Just getting our syntax right here. Nothing more. All right, so WP scan URL passwords is roku.text, usernames is admin, maximum threads 50. Let's try. No. Okay. See if it goes this time. So right now it's performing a password attack using roku.text against our site. And this is very loud on our network. So since this takes a little bit longer, let's go and check out our security onion and how we're doing. As you can see, it's trying different passwords here. This might take a long time. Another way is let's just go with Hydra here instead of WP scan. We can try Hydra in a second, but let's check and see the behavior of a brute force on a WordPress site when Security Onion is listening. Then we can come and try Hydra. Let's do alerts. All right, let's check out what does it look like when somebody's brute forcing. Okay, here it is. See that? It says client body contains password in clear text. Or actually this one, clear text WordPress login. Let's drill down on this and see if we can see the passwords that we are trying from a blue team sort of perspective. All right, so this is correct. We're coming from Kali Linux. We're going to our victim machine on port 80. Clear text logins. Let's see what was the password here. This should show us the password that was tried actually. All right, so this was a different one. Let's try something like that one. All right, this one shows us admin being tried and password 123. These are the passwords from Roku.txt. So as you can see, we are brute forcing, and Security Onion is able to catch the passwords that we're trying multiple times, and that's why we have so many, because we are brute forcing. Let's go back and try a different brute force mechanism here. Was I tried this one, somehow WP scan doesn't find anything. Let's use Hydra. But now you know how to use WP scan to try if you have a username against a wait list. Let's use Hydra instead. I find Hydra to be better at this. And in order for us to use Hydra, here's what we need to do. We need to find out what is the error that we get when you try to sign in as admin. Let's try password. We need to find out what is the error. Okay, error is the password you entered for username admin is incorrect. We need that error for Hydra. So let's go back here. I'll show you what I have for Hydra. Yeah, this one will do it. So we need to say Hydra, give it a username. In this case, our username is admin. And then our password, we're going to use the same Roku.txt, and we're going to use sunset midnight. And then it's a HTTP post, of course. We're going to go after WP admin and inserting the user in the password forms. And then the error message here, we need to replace with what we found. It's going to be that. All right. Then we can replace the username if you want it with capital L. So let's try with Hydra. See if we get a different result. This is just brute forcing the WordPress. All right. This is very interesting. Thanks, Mike. Mike says Hydra is the tool of choice. This is very interesting. Obviously, first time I saw this, I was like, what in the world is this? There's no way the same user has a bunch of passwords like this. Let's try this one. This is, for whatever reason, this behavior is interesting. It doesn't work. None of those passwords work, even though Hydra somehow thinks these passwords worked. They are not going to work. So we are out of luck here too, which is very interesting. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about this result here from Hydra, because I found this to be very interesting, because I was like, wait a second, I gave it one user and I got a bunch of responses as valid passwords. Don't know what's up with this, and if somebody knows, please let me know. But we're going to move away from this, and this is where we get our biggest lesson, right? Once you try a couple of times, in this case I tried WP scan to brute force, it didn't give me anything. After a long time, after like 10 minutes or so, Hydra is giving me some weird stuff. I do have some interesting stuff though from my results, so I'll keep this one in mind for now. I also have MySQL. So MySQL is here. Maybe we brute force MySQL instead of Hydra. So let's pivot. Somebody has done it before. If I can type in this will. Somebody has brute force MySQL before, so they should tell me how to brute force MySQL using Hydra. I should have said Hydra. Why don't we just go with Hydra? With Hydra, I know that from my notes here, I'm just showing you how to look things up. But with Hydra, I know that here I can specify, these are some of my notes from Hydra. I can specify the service, just like FTP here. I can specify MySQL right here. So let's do that. Let's copy this one. Let's forget what Hydra did for WP scan there. I would use WebSuite to generate the post. Oh yeah, that is a good one too. In this case, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just going to reuse what I have. I'll say Hydra admin password is going to be this one instead of the password that I have there. Then in this case, instead of FTP, why don't we use MySQL? I think Hydra should be able to read that. And here, let's just put our sunset midnight. Let's see what happens in this case. Wait a second. What did I do wrong here? I thought I got this one right. In this case, yeah. Oh, see what I'm doing here? It's syntax. I need to give it a password list. So it's capital P here. Let's see if this works. So whoa. Connection is blocked with MySQL admin. Flash host. Let's try that one more time. This is what happens sometimes, you know. This doesn't, you don't just come in here and start working. Let's try one more time and see. Yes. Yeah, that'll be interesting. So right now my SQL is also too. Oh, it's actually telling me how to unblock it. Let's try that. Says our hosts is blocked because of many connection errors. Unblock with MySQL admin flash host. I've never seen this before, but why not? Do I run this here or do I run it on my machine? Let's try this one more time. In this case, it's the same. It should work. If Hydra doesn't work, we need to use John. we have tools here. Okay, so far you have 10 seconds to abort. Okay, maybe I'm curious if Hydra is seeing my previous results. I think that's what's happening here. If you run this should work. But let's see if we can try to fix this error here. so we can actually make it work. What's up with the Hydra? I'm not the first one to run into errors, so the internet should tell me. Right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that I have a clean copy of this machine so I can use Hydra very well. So let's go to here, restore it, just in case it's remembering my previous brute force. Then when you're doing this, you always want to have snapshots. In this case, I'm going to restore it to the very first state to make sure that I have a clean slate of the machine. Then once it does that, I do a normal start. Then we can do Hydra again. We did too many connections, I guess. All right, and while we were doing that, this thing here is going all crazy on us. Let's refresh this one first. This is our security onion. And we should see a bunch of things here happening, especially on our alerts. Nmap, of course. WP scan, this is our WordPress that we did. Our brute forcing that we did 59 events here. This is probably WP scan trying to brute force 59 times. So we are still capturing the traffic. Let's go back and make sure that our machine is back up online. I think that's it. Clear. 38 to 23. All right, so we have a connection. Let's try Hydra. If it happens again, maybe it's my Hydra that needs to be flashed. Let's give it a minute here. That is interesting. All right. Unblock with MySQL flash host. I would also like to verify my syntax. Make sure I'm not. That is right. Oh, somebody tell me, wake me up. I'm brute forcing admin on MySQL. We should brute force root. Maybe that's why I'm getting too many errors. The user that we go for on MySQL is root, not admin. Which explains why maybe we're getting too many errors. And this happens all the time. One of the biggest things that I've noted is that I need to be very patient with myself, especially when doing this and things are not working. So that didn't like that either. All right, if this keeps happening, I will have to figure out what is happening here with my MySQL sunset at midnight. What if I just went for 192.168.38.23? I'm assuming I'll get the same results. Actually, let's use this. Restore file, you have 10 seconds to abort. -I. If it doesn't work, probably because I ran it from here. So that's what we are running with MySQL there. Unlock with MySQL that. Let me know if you've seen this error before, where your host is actually blocked because of many connection errors. Unblock with that MySQL connection. I'm going to give it one more chance and search for Hydra specific results. I would say Hydra. Otherwise, we'll try something else. There we go. Stack Overflow. This person says it's a fix. How do we fix that? Oh. That is interesting. So this is suggesting that we reset that. I don't think so. Somebody made a common mistake. Let's see what this one says. 2 common mistakes. All right. All right, so because of that, I'm going to reset. I already did. I thought I reset this. All right, if it doesn't, let's try Sql Injection. Somebody said that. Matthew said set global max connect errors. Oh, that's a big number. All right, let's try that. Let's try set a global max connection errors and see if that works. If that works. Somebody suggested to do a WP Sql Injection. I tried Sql Injection. It's not injectable. Since this is starting, this is what I did for Sql Injection. I'll show you. I use Burp because Burp Suite is my go-to for Sql injections. I just came here and I did this, and I fired up Burp and I captured this request. After I captured the request, I set the parameter to admin, and then I came back here and used my a few parameters to just inject, make sure that it actually works. I injected these payloads here. None of them worked for me. MySQL flash host. I think I did. Let's try. All right, our host should be back. Our host should be back up. In this case, let's try that. If that doesn't work, I'm going to do the set global max errors equals to something. Okay, so I don't know what to tell you about that. I was able to just reset my machine to default. So it gave me the password very quickly. The password is Robert. Still curious how to fix that error though. So, but I know that this works. We just reset the machine. So if that happens, maybe that's what we need to do. But I would like to try to set up the max host as well, like Matthew suggested. So let's try that. In this case, MySQL SU is it root? Let's just move on, make sure that we got our syntax right here. And I'm going to go for actually, I do this all the time. You can do this one like that, then -p when you specify a password, and then -h for 192.168.38.23. Hopefully you learned something there about persistence and also just remaining calm when things are not working. If you are easily frustrated, these machines, you'll not last a long time working on them. There are times when I spend an hour on something silly. It's just a matter of learning from them. All right, so we use this username and password, and we're in. And the first thing that we need to do here is enumerate the MySQL. And for this, I just have a global command that I run for the schema. In this case, I just say, hey, MySQL, I'm selecting all from information schema. Give me what you have. And this will list the databases that we have here. And once you have a database, you know which one to go for. In this case, it's WordPress DB. We also have a MySQL database here, probably the default one that they didn't disable. But we know this is where the money is at because we're running that WordPress site that we couldn't get to. So let's use that database. And this is a good practice for us to practice SQL commands, so we can at least get familiar with this instead of using SQL map. Okay, so we changed that. I can say show tables here if I'm curious what's here. Show me some tables. What do you have for me? And here, I encourage you to go through all these tables. Sometimes users might be a dead end. I've seen where they don't give you much here, but some of the posts that are hidden, you may be able to read them from here. So make sure you check them all. In this case, let's select, let's check out the users. Select all from the users table. And let's see. We got a user's hash. So we can crack this if we want, or we can replace it. We have two options. If cracking is too much work, we can reset this. Since we're in as root, we should be able to reset this password. Here is our admin, and here's our admin hash. So let's try the cracking way first, because we've done this before. Then I think resetting is the fastest way. I don't know what you guys normally do, but resetting the password is easier than just waiting for it to crack. So I already have a password file with that. So you come in here, say admin, and here's the password. Once we have the password hash in a file, in this case I named it hash.txt, what you can do is use John to try to crack that hash with John. So let's see. I think I have password cracking. Don't have. Yeah, you can just do this with John. And in this case, instead of hash file dot hash, I just have hash.txt. John will go through locute the text. This might take you a minute. This might take you 5 minutes, depending on the complexity for the password. But since we're in here as root, I don't think we have to wait for John to crack this hash. Let's go and replace that password with what we know. If we didn't know that, let's go here, use our trusted friend Google, and build on our Google full. MySQL reset password. This will actually tell us, somebody on the internet is going to tell us how to do this. We don't have to know everything, right? If it's not already in our notes. Hey, here's an article with some prerequisites. We already have access. And we just want to change somebody's password here. Did they tell us? All right. This is not the one. I found a nice article earlier when I was looking this one up. Maybe let's get it from the source, wordpress.org. You get the idea. Yeah, BT says replacing is faster. All right, so here's a nice article. I really like this one because it shows us exactly whether if we have PHP myadmin or not, but it shows us the syntax for the command. In fact, if you didn't know, the passwords in MySQL for WordPress, they are saved using MD5. They're hashed using MD5. So this right here says update the name of the table that we found, set user pass, then you say MD5, then you put your new password here, where ID is equals to, let's just take this. This is going to be our command. In fact, I'm going to add it to my notes. For now, let me put it here with John. Then I'll organize it later. All right. It's WP underscore users. Set pass is equals to MD5. So we can set up a password here. In this case, I can say subscribe here, where ID is equals to what is the user's ID. We only have one user in this case, so of course our user ID is 1. Here's our ID 1. And in this case, we replace this whole thing. And this will change our password. Let's see if it will work. In this case, I think I'm missing. Okay, let's remove this. This should do it. If it doesn't, we'll figure out why. But that's just a quick way of saying, hey, this is how we create okay, incorrect core native MD5. All right, now that you saw how, now that you saw how I do it, I'm going to show you the one that I've already made using the same sequence and the same password. Where's my, it's the same exact command, so nothing special there. I think I messed up the syntax. Thank you. Yeah. I used the same documentation to make a full one. This was actually above what I just showed you. Where was that? This says this is a newer version. I used this right here instead, which actually goes and changes gives me the username as well. So let's put what we have here. And right, update WP users, set user pass equals to MD5, subscribe, where user login equals to, instead of specifying the ID here, I think I had some syntax there. I don't want to deal with it. I'm just going to use this one. So here's how we update the admin's password. Use let's use the database that we found up here, WordPress underscore DB. So we need to tell MySQL to use the database. Then we can update our password. Now that we did that, let's go and sign in with this password here. Now our password is subscribe, so let's go in. This should be the very first time we sign in. Let's make sure the password is there correctly, because we just reset this. All right, so this is the first time we're getting in here. It's asking us to update our email, remind us later. And this is where, come on. Let's make sure that we type that password correctly. What's up with this thing? All right. What kind of sorcery is this? I just reset the password. Of course, it said it changed. So what's up with that? Mike says, you never use the MD5? Yeah, I'm curious. What's up? You know what? It should work. It should work, but I wouldn't be surprised if not, the MD5 should not be the problem. All right, maybe I have something cached here, so let's do this. Let's make sure that we don't have some caching going on with Google Chrome. All right. So let's see what we have here. Select O from WP underscore users. This shouldn't be this isn't the hardest part at all. Are they really? It's here in plain text. All right, let's go back to the MD5. If this doesn't like it, then we will try to put the whole ID equals to and limit equals to. Actually, maybe I should do that. Where ID, because that's what the documentation was saying, equals to 1, and limit was also equals to limit 1. And update WC way. Jesus Christ, what's happening with this thing? All right, let's see if it changed to our hash this time. That should work, I think. It says it doesn't have to be secure. We don't need it to be MD5. All right. Here, let's try this other. It's hashed. We know that it's. All right. Let's try it again. All right, there we go. That wasn't supposed to be hard. That is not the hard part of the machine. All right. So first order of business. Let's pick up our speed here. We've done this before. I'm going to cat sh.php. You should be familiar with this one by now. This is Pentest Monkey PHP reverse shell, the easiest reverse shell to work with. So I'm just going to copy that. My normal business when I have that WordPress is I just go to appearance, theme editor, then I edit the 404 page. I understand. Then I replace this with my reverse shell. In this case, I'm listening on port. What port is it? 5353. So let's go ahead and start a listener to get a reverse shell here. NP 5353. Start a listener. Let's go and see if this one is going to allow us to update. I've seen where WordPress can be very stubborn here. It says nope, you can't do that. Let's see if, yep, like that. That is an error. So we cannot edit this. We have one more place to try. If we get stuck here, then we know we need to find another way. We need to maybe look for vulnerable plugins. So that didn't work. We got an error. Let's go to our plugins and plugin editor. Understand. Let's use this Hello Dolly here. it's the same deal. You can do it with plugins or pages, but with plugins you have more flexibility than the pages. At least I've seen. Let's update this. Well, this one succeeded. Question is that plugin activated? No. So let's activate it and hopefully we get a reverse shell. No, it didn't work. Okay, let's see if we can visit the plugin on the browser. And what I just do here is I just go here. Plugins are located in WP-content. Then you can say hello Dolly. And this happens. This is where again you don't have to you don't have to despair, right? Oh, I know I changed the code. I know I activated the plugin, so what the hell? Well, let's go back to the plugin editor and see what happened there. Hey, I thought we changed this. You didn't like that, so let's try it again. One more time. If it doesn't like it, we install the same plugin again. Or we can get our own vulnerable plugin. There's a bunch on GitHub. But this is just a matter of persistence and knowing that it should work. If it doesn't work, we can try again. I've had where I'll update the plugin, then the plugin automatically disappears. So, all right. So this one is now complaining about that deal again. That means we messed with this plugin. So we need to go back here. Let's deactivate this. Let's add a new plugin and same one. Someone would have given up here. They would have gone on other ways. I'll come back and install it again. Go back to plugin editor. Now you will notice that I have two of them. Hopefully the one that I just installed will take. I'm assuming it's the first one. I'll put my PHP here again because I need shell. I need to be able to get shell on that machine, and I'm not going to try the ones on GitHub because most of them require us to use what is that called? Metasploit. I don't want to use Metasploit. So let's refresh this maybe. See what happened there? I reinstalled the same exact plugin, refreshed the same page. Now I'm in business. First thing is I need to make sure that I'm still listening. I'm listening on 5353. Now let's execute this hello.php. And we're in. So I guess I hope that was a little bit learning on our part, persistence there to know that if one hello Dolly fails, you don't have to just be like, whoa, this doesn't work and move on. We can actually try the second one. All right, so now I can just say, okay, let's do the normal stuff here. Let's fix our shell. Let's make this work. And of course, we need our ability to clear the screen because we like to clear the screen. If you don't know what I'm doing here, this is just to hopefully stabilize my shell so I can do this, all that work for that. ls minus la. Let's figure out, okay, what's going on here? Do I have any hidden files? Nothing. With WordPress, my go-to thing is, hey, this is WordPress. I'm just going to go and figure out what's in those configuration files. Because that can be very interesting as well. But also let's check home. Do we have any users here? Oh, can we get to that user? Oh, there, that is interesting. They got a bash history. Let's see if we can read it. I see a user.txt there. They don't have any history. Oh no. So we're going to need more permissions here. But at least now we know that we can do some lateral movement here. We need to get into this person's account. No doubt about it. First, let's check our WordPress site. Do we have this person here as one of the users? Oh no, because we didn't see them in MySQL, so we only have admin here. But we know that there's this user here. So there isn't much to go on here. We need now to say, okay, our only way is we have WordPress, and hopefully we can go and read some configuration files. If you don't know where WordPress configuration files are located, just look up or you can set your system like location. After a while you kind of know where they are, but if you didn't know, you can look at the configuration. This is sort of like my way of saying, hey, we can look at like, okay, where are they located? I just want to know where are these files located so I can go and read them. Hopefully they told us. Otherwise we can go to search var www and see if they're in there. I'm not going to waste time looking for them here. Let's go there actually. Was I already there? Search www cd html. I think this is where you see WordPress. There we go. It's rare that people change the default installation location, but in this case we have here. So here's a config.php. Always a good idea to check it out. It's very loud, so let's grab instances of password there. It's probably going to give us the same password locations, isn't it? All right, so here is our WordPress site, and we can try to see if we have any interesting. Actually, why didn't we just grab Jose as the user? What was I thinking? All right. Now that people have mentioned that I don't have to use MD5, I'm curious if this is even MD5 hash or if this is just Jose's password. Yeah, because we found Jose's password here, and I don't know. So here's MySQL database user. Assuming Jose reuses the same password, because they don't sign into MySQL. Let's try our trusted friend port 22. I like to open a new tab. SSH Jose at 192.168.38.23. If this password doesn't work, I'll try to crack it through MD5. Okay, now that is confusing. So this is not even encrypted. Oh, it's not MD5 because it doesn't have the correct format. This is actually the password. Okay. Okay, user.text. So that was just a lateral movement from one place to another. Okay, so this is just a flag. I thought they used the same as his password for the flag. Okay, so we just switched from wdata, who was pretty much an anchor user for us, to this user. Now we can do sudo -l. I rarely run sudo -l for wwdata because no one in their right mind is going to give wwdata sudo privileges, but you'll be surprised. In this case, let's put the password again. Oh. Okay, sorry, because they may not run any sudo here. So nah, we cannot run any sudo here. So let's go to my privilege escalation and call on my sequences. If I try that and it doesn't work, I would like to test some of these GTFO beans, but to do that, I will have to check for SUIDs, and this just shows us some misconfigurations here. And to be honest with you, I'm at this point, I'm really sick of finding SUIDs that work. I want privilege escalation that doesn't involve SUIDs. But I don't choose these machines ahead of time. Like, I choose them on the day off, and once I have a machine and it's SUIDs, that's what's on the menu. So in this case, we found ourselves again with SUID, and hopefully you like SUIDs. This one looks interesting, right? It's status. Usually what we're looking at here is, are we running any system commands that potentially have misconfigurations with permissions? And if we are doing so, what commands are there? So let me run strings against this thing here. Oof, that's ugly. I was hoping to see, oh yeah, here I can actually read this. Service SSH status. This is the command that is interesting to us, because if you're running any system commands and there's SUID set on that, we can abuse them. This is like this 8th machine that I've done on these live streams, abusing the same system commands. So in this service, they're running service SSH status. Well, let's try to run this and see what it does. Okay, we're getting an error, service not found. That is not necessarily bad, because they have it strung in here with SUIDs. That means that if service is not found, we can create the service and give them the service. And since it is already SUIDs, we can actually become root. They are not finding the service, we'll give them the service. I thought they were executing the service and some other system command, but service is the command that they defined here, or it's not found. It's not a problem. We will give them the service. SSH, I think the service, the command itself is the one that is complaining about. Let's try that. Yeah, it's complaining about the command service itself. Let's create this command service just like what we did exactly last week. Next week, I'll try to make sure that we don't have another SUID set. Just like what we did last week, if you were here, we're doing that again today. I like to do it in the temp. I don't know why, but I've always done it there. But we're going to just cannibalize on what we did last week. That was... I think I searched for path last week, actually. I searched for this. Let's just exploit path variable like that. So here's what we're going to do. Oh, I don't have my echo commands in here. I thought for sure I even had the bin sh in here and stuff like that. Okay. We can create this. Let's echo some stuff. Remember we said echo such bin such sh to, in this case, service. Then we can say, hey, cat service. Make sure that we did it right. We already did it right. And in this case, all we need to do now is figure out, can we hijack the path? Echo, right now let's echo the service, the command service. Oh, do we even have that? defined anywhere? No. Okay, we're giving them then. What is the full path? Oh, we're just going to take our temp here. And last week I explained that the system, what happens is when you run service, since service is not found, that's why it doesn't know. We're going to tell the system, hey, when we say service, it's actually located in our temp folder. So it will run whatever we give it. In this case, it's going to run the service command. In this case, this one is also set to give us a shell right here. This command could be anything. This could be another reverse shell, a netcat reverse shell back, or this could just spawn us into root. The reason why it's setting us into root is because there's SUID set on that file that we are running the service command from. Hopefully that makes sense. So let's give this this path. In this case, let's echo it to temp using what we have here. Export the path, temp to our full path, and I'll show you what it looks like after we run this export here. Now let's echo the path. Our path now starts from temp. But hey, classic me, I always forget this needs to be executable here. Make sure that service is executable before we do anything. Right, now if we go here and run that command again, this, we should, let's see, get shell right there. That went very quickly, but if we now do an ID, we got root. So SUIDs, the easiest ones for us so far. If you haven't seen them and this is your first time, it's easy. You run that command to find SUIDs, you find them. Last time I think it was a script. This time we found this service here. It was a little unique because we couldn't find it, but still, let's see if we can get our root file flag here. Get root.txt. We did it, and thanks to Felipe. Make sure to follow this person on Twitter. They did a great job creating this machine. I think it was fun. We got stuck several times here, but the main goal here is that hopefully we're learning something. And if you like this type of stuff, give me a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel. We actually, I think this was easy. It said medium, but I think it was easy. It was just trolling me. At least for me, I thought it was trolling me because of WordPress not wanting to take my stuff, unable to use Hydra to brute force, but this was a really great machine. I'm personally sick of WordPress coming back. Hopefully you learned something about plugins as well, but I don't want to practice with WordPress anymore. No more CMS for me. I'm almost sick of them. Next time I'll choose something different. But let's do some autopsy here before we end this. Let's find out, what did we do? What were we doing? What do the good guys see on the defense side? Here's our intrusion detection system. We made a lot of noise. We didn't care about getting caught, so there we go. We did WP scan. Look at that. ET server WP scan users agent. This is when we were brute forcing, I think. It's a web application attack. Let's look at one of these. Is this when we were brute forcing the users or the passwords? Okay. Yeah, I'm curious. This is a cookie that we're seeing here. What are we doing with all these WordPress commands here? Let's check a few of them here. We saw this one, the clear text password. We didn't check this one. But this is just, we're going after port 80. So this is a clear text password, Hydra probably. In this case, oh, this is our password that we said subscribe was the password. This is when we were trying it out. So as you can see, the good guys are able to do it very quickly without even spending too much time here. I'll find out what was happening here. This was probably me trying to get back in using that password to subscribe. Let's go back. Yeah, it's the same. This should be some brute forcing happening. Oh, did I try that many times? Or am I picking the same one? Let's choose a random one here. Okay, yeah, this is different. This is definitely a Hydra using raw-coded text. And so if somebody's brute forcing your site, this is most likely what you're going to see. And I would hope that you had configured it so that it times out, or at least if somebody tries 1,000 requests in a minute, or whatever number, you lock them out. You have a web application firewall that prevents this, but you'll be surprised a lot of people still don't use those. Let's check one more alert here and see if we can. Let's go to the hunt interface. There's many ways you can use Security Onion, whether within Security Onion or in Kibana. And in this case, this is what the hunt interface looks like. We're going to port 22. This is probably nmap. Yeah, this is nmap when we're enumerating port 22. If I sort these ports, I should be able to see my 5353 port. And be able to tell when I got my reverse shell here. There's a quick way to search here, but we don't have that many ports. 5353, okay. This is what it saw it as. But this is our reverse shell. Alright, and just like last time, it can tell what happened here. When we got a reverse shell, we got in as www data. So as part of your report, you can say, yes, this was a successful connection on port 5353 is www data. And sometimes if you run a bunch of commands here, it's actually able to see them. And in this case, we can tell www data showed up. You have to understand most of this is being caught because we had port 80. If it was 443, we will need to be able to an SSL decryptor somewhere within our infrastructure. And for most corporate environments, you will have that. But in this case, we are just in a lab. 80 is fine. Last time I used port 53 to get my reverse shell, and that might not trigger a lot of intrusion detection systems. So using port 53 or the NTP port, those are usually open somehow by people's firewalls. So if you're going in somebody's network, use 53 or NTP ports, something that any enterprise is going to allow outside. Sometimes people allow those common ports, or even some of those ports, but of course do that for good. We have a bunch of MySQL failures here. This is because we're brute forcing. So maybe you want to set alerts to make sure that somebody can let you know. But let's check one of the brute force attacks that we did and see if we can tell what's really happening. Here's our message. Okay, yeah, you can see it's an access denied. When I was brute forcing MySQL using admin as a user, also I was having tunnel vision, so you can tell which users were brute forced and how did it happen. If you like things that look nicer, Kibana might be your thing. Again, it's the same information. Here you can view it. And if you learn Kibana, I think you can also learn other SIEM solutions out there. You can transfer these skills to Splunk. If you learn the Kibana query language here, you can query Kibana for specific data if you knew what you were looking for, and you'll be able to see things as well. So that's what we had here today. This was a little fun. I think it was a medium machine from Jason Sec. He said he just passed the OSCP in December, and he suggested that this machine be done. So we did it. It's super fun. So thank you for joining me today. Let me know if you have any questions for me. Otherwise, I think this was a fun machine to complete. Next time we will not have WordPress or a CMS site. We'll try to have a better, hopefully, I'll try to practice and see if we have an interesting privilege escalation. Because I would like to actually see different things than SUIDs. Looks like that's what I'll run into all the time. I wonder if that's what's on the OSCP. Because everybody also suggests these machines end up with one of those things. Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate the feedback, man. And I hope you're learning a lot as well. Awesome. I appreciate everybody's feedback. Let me know if you also are able to set up this lab. I'm curious how many people actually are doing this. I think being able to track down these events and really dig in can be a game changer for people. Because you don't want to just go to work, especially if you haven't started working in cybersecurity. You don't want to just go to work and have them tell you, oh, here's what a message looks like. If you get familiar with reading the messages and being able to identify timestamps and reading this data and understanding some rules and how they fire, you'll be in a better place, I think. Yeah, we try to just show a quick, like, hey, you made a lot of noise. This is what it looks like. And hopefully you can inform yourself, like, if you need to hide for a pen test, don't be running CTF commands that you see from my stream. You'll be caught, obviously. Yeah. Oh, nice. Matthew says you have a security onion setup. I found out that security onion, there's a new update. I'm actually going to try to install the latest one. This time when I deployed the latest one, of interest to me was the Wazoo API. It looks like there's been some updates to that. So I'm going to install the enterprise version for Security Onion. So instead of installing it in trial mode, I'm going to install 2 nodes as if it's a real production network in VMware. Then I can add Wazoo agents to all my network so that I can have syslog data in there. And I've done this before with the Wazoo on my network. It's really good. You actually get a nice Wazoo interface, which is really great. So if somebody was running this in production mode, not in real production, let me know how it works. It should be simple to set up. There's a question here. Did you point security onion at the server? Okay, so this is what I did to get these events to work. I have a switch. Where is that switch? I can show you the switch configuration here. I have a very cheap switch. Let me show you what it looks like, because it's a port mirroring, but for this specific lab, to make my data easier to read for these live streams, I just use I just mirror one port that is connected to the computer that is running that machine. I don't mirror all network traffic because it will be too much, and it's just too much data than I would like to see, especially for live streams. But this is the switch. It's a D-Link switch that you can buy for probably $10 or something. And under configuration here, I have port mirroring. And this port here is being mirrored to port 48, which is connected to my security onion. And this one is connected to an old desktop, like a Windows machine. Let's see if I can show you. A Windows machine that is running VirtualBox. And this port here, the one that I'm mirroring to, is connected to VMware EXI, where I'm running Security Onion. That way I have one machine traffic being mirrored here. And it's very simple. And I encourage you to have sort of like an SSD for your Security Onion, like others are saying here. It's just, it makes things faster. I noticed that when I was running on a hard drive, my Security Onion wasn't as fast, but now it's actually responsive. It's not as fast as I would like, but it's very, very responsive. How much RAM? Matthew is asking me how much RAM I have for this machine. I gave this one a lot of RAM. I think I'm running it in here. I can show you. I gave it, I think, did I give it 16 gigs of RAM? Or even, is it more or less? Yeah, this is in VMware. Let's see, Security Onion. Did I really do that? I didn't even realize. I don't know if you can see this. I gave this machine 24 gigs of RAM. Yeah, I thought I gave it 16. No, I actually went to 24. I have 120 gigs on the VMware host. So this one is taking 24 gigs and 400 gigs on the hard drives. On the hard drive here, it has two interfaces, of course. The management one and the mirror that is getting the traffic. But wow, this is I even surprised myself that I gave it 4 CPUs, but 16 gigs I think is what they recommend for Security Onion RAM. 12 minimum, 16 a comfortable installation. Nice. I see BT, you gave it yours 20. Yeah, 20 is a decent, and this is thin provisioned, so the machine doesn't always use it all. Is VMware on desktop? No, VMware is running on Dell R710 server. It's a Dell R710 system. And here are some of its specs here. Yeah. How do you rate attack lab versus detection lab? I use detection lab from what is his name? I forgot his name. In fact, you'll see that my IP addressing scheme here is inspired by the detection lab, like 192.168.38. I did this intentionally because I wanted to be able to install detection lab in this same environment on the same exact network subnet and still work. Detection lab is really good. I'm not sure what by attack lab. Can you send me a link to the attack lab? But the detection lab that I've tried, that was really it's really good. It's a simple one to set up. I did run into a few errors. That's the trouble, is when you run somebody's pre-made environments and you start running into errors, it can be frustrating to a point where you give up and you just install your own. That's what I ended up doing here. My ultimate goal is to end up with this lab here set up using something like Ansible scripts. In Ansible script that will set up the Security Onion, even though Security Onion uses Salt. Set up Security Onion, set up a Kali Linux in a environment and a few other machines using Ansible, and or maybe Vagrant, and download it or something like that. Yeah, unfortunately, Security Onion is very greedy. You're going to need, if you're going to run Security Onion on your desktop, you're going to notice that it takes a lot of resources just to sniff. It doesn't mean you cannot run it on a desktop with 16 gigs of RAM and at the same time. You just have to be aware of how many VMs you're running. Yeah. Let's see if did I miss something. Docker, yeah. If I could run Security Onion actually is running a bunch of Docker containers inside of there, like the container that runs Zik, Suricata. You can go in there and mess with it. In fact, I encourage you to go and check out how Security Onion is set up. So they're using Salt, which is an automation tool as well. Salt will set up the containers running Zik, Suricata, Wazoo, and all those other things. They're all containers inside. And you can go in there and dissect them if you really want to. Yeah. Said, oh yeah, what did I do before I started working in cybersecurity? I worked as a sysadmin. I actually spent a whole year working on a lot of Linux systems, converting Linux machines, Windows machines to Linux. I did a lot of networking. I actually ended up getting certified in Cisco as a CCNP. So yeah, a little bit of sysadmin, and I would say networking is my thing. Mostly a lot of networking background, then sysadministration, Windows and Linux. You definitely need a good grasp of those. So if you are studying networking, that is really, really good stuff. I always suggest CCNA is the way to go. Definitely CCNA if you want to learn. And as for certs, I don't think you need to pursue certs unless if somebody's paying for them or if you really need them. I think you just need to make sure that you are disciplined enough to learn, which is what certifications will give you, like a structure to learn. Hey, you want to learn networking? How about you just go the Cisco route and routing and switching, and you'll be able to get there. Yeah. Great questions here. Matthew says that when I'm old enough, I'll work to buy them. Yeah, I'll try to get your employer to pay for the certifications if you can. That's always the case. All right, guys, I'm going to wait here for another minute or so. Then we can go to bed and start this week. But this was really fun. I think being able to exploit machines is really fun. Don't miss this every single Sunday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll be doing this. Like I said, I promise a little bit more variety next time. No more SUIDs if I can. It will be either something else or Windows, so we can spend more time. I got a little shy about going back to try hack me after somebody tried to hack me. His name was Ali, and he sent me a nice message on Discord, laughing. That was funny though. If you missed that live stream, I think it's one of the funniest live streams of all time. I was attacking a machine on Try Hack Me, and Ali went on that machine and redirected me to a not so nice website. He went and changed DNS on the machine that I was attacking on Try Hack Me. So yeah. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you very much for hanging out with me today. Otherwise, I will see you exactly at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time next week. Thanks a lot. See you later.